3, 2, and ladies and germs, welcome back to Couchlocked podcast. I am your host, Jake O'Mara. We're here, episode 3, week 3. Didn't think, actually, I don't know. Of course, I thought at some point we'd get here. I was gonna say, didn't think we'd get here, but I, of course, hoped we would get here. I feel like that's a rhetorical statement. But I'm glad that we got here because it's week 3. We're really in it. Like, we're almost halfway through. Well, that's not true because it's 10 episodes. We're like a quarter of the way through the season now. It's pretty exciting. It's a beautiful, crisp, clear, cold evening by the beach here in Southern California in my van. I feel like this is a very polar opposite episode from last week, because last week I was super hot and kept having to take breaks to cool down because it was super muggy and gross. Now it's cold. It's 68 degrees right now. I'm chilly. I got the heat on. It's wild. It's a very different experience from last week. It's also the evening. Last week I recorded in the middle of the day, so that's also different. But I'm only recording at 11:18 p.m. Because I have been procrastinating like crazy today, which is so ironic because last week that's what I talked about, how I have an issue with procrastinating and not wanting to get things done. And for whatever reason, it's really hitting me this episode this week. I was supposed to record this morning, pushed it off to the afternoon, got to that point, pushed it off. Was supposed to record an hour ago, and I pushed it off and kept pushing it until now. So here we are. I was so close to pushing it off to tomorrow too, and I'm just glad I didn't, because I would just not be stoked with myself, because this is really the only day this week I can record, because it's a Tuesday, and I'm glad I'm sticking to what I said last week. I'm recording this earlier in the week, but that's just because I'm super busy on tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, so I really don't have any time. And Friday I'd like to not have the pressure of recording the episode that's supposed to go out that's the same day. I don't want to deal with that kind of pressure. So, because then at that point I'm just gonna get so freaked out and just stressed that I'm just gonna end up canceling the release and missing a week, which is just out of the question. I can't do that. I'm trying to be better, and that taking a step and actually just pushing myself to just do it on time and early when I'm scheduled to do it and supposed to do it, then push it off until the last minute or even have to cancel entirely because I couldn't just sit down and record an episode for 30 minutes to an hour. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that difficult. I can do it, so here I am, and I'm stoked because hopefully this is going to be the best episode yet. I feel like last week was a step up from the week before, and I feel like this week might be even a step up from last week. So hopefully, that's the goal with this show, is just get progressively better and better, just getting back used to this whole thing, and figuring out the learning curve of doing these things alone, where with my last podcast, I had a co-host, so it was easier to bounce things off of and actually have a conversation. Even though I did do some episodes of that alone, which kind of gave me the confidence that I'm able to do this because I've done it in one way or another. But yeah, so stoked to be doing this week. Hopefully it's going to be good. But mentioning that my other podcast, I mentioned in the first episode, in the premiere, that I was rebooting that podcast with my co-host Donovan Holland, because in like a week we were gonna restart the show after 2 years. We were gonna record like a week after, or the same week I recorded that first episode of this season, but ultimately that didn't end up happening, and we haven't recorded any new episodes. We haven't relaunched yet. I was going to mention this last week, but I completely forgot. But yeah, so our other show, the Miscast Review, is we're just pushing back the premiere date until hopefully this winter, maybe in December, just because he's super busy with work and school, and I'm doing a whole bunch of work and all this and writing and everything, that we're just going to push it off until our schedules open up a little bit in December, because then he'll be off of school. The season will be wrapped, so we'll have a lot more time to focus on it and really put in all of our efforts into making it a great show, the best that we can do. And I don't know if we're going to do a seasonal like this, or it's going to be week to week. I'm not really sure yet. It's something to figure out, and we're going to navigate it when the time comes. But that time is not right now. So I am excited for when that time does come, and I think it's going to be great. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. If you guys like, movies and movie discussions and talks and deep dives into whatever movie news is going on or whatever, if you like that stuff, hopefully you guys are going to like our show. We're doing companion channels on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, so hopefully you guys will enjoy it. But that's enough of a plug of that, and I think a long enough intro. Just kind of setting the scene of where things are at. I don't know why I said that like a robot, but where things are at, and the setting for tonight, I guess, and just catching up on basic housekeeping whatnots. So welcome to this week after almost 9 minutes. Welcome. I know I said welcome at the beginning. I just kind of rambly. Welcome. So I hope you guys had a good week. For me, it hasn't been a full week since the last time I recorded, because last week I recorded on a Thursday and it's only Tuesday. So not too much has happened, but pretty big updates, I guess, for you. So I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, of why it was so muggy. It was so muggy because we were in the beginning of a hurricane here in San Diego, which hasn't happened in the last 25 years. We haven't experienced any kind of tropical storm or anything in the last 25 years. And it was Hurricane K, and it was coming up the coast of Baja in Mexico, up the coast, and kind of spinning off into the Pacific. So the like tail end, or the like outer rims of the hurricane, hit us and Los Angeles. And it wasn't too bad. It was it was a lot of rain, some heavy winds, and just other than that, that was it. It was a nice rain, thank God, and it just helped break our heat wave. And now hurricane's gone. It's clear out. It's the weather has really cooled off. It's been pretty mellow, except for in the like mid early evenings. They like kind of heats back up, but then it cools off again in the night. So yeah, it's been pretty nice since, thankfully. Could have been way worse. If it came any closer to us, there would have been catastrophic flooding, because our cities are not built for heavy rainflow. So it would have been bad news for sure. So thank God it didn't really come too close at all, honestly. So weather's been pretty nice down here. If last week we had a poll, we talked about how I could be in a possible lawsuit over the IP of the show, because apparently I'm not a good enough internet sleuth to find out that there's another show with the same title. It's not exactly the same. It's Couchlocked Entertainment, and this is just Couchlocked. So there's a little bit different, but still, it's not the best situation to be in, and it could definitely end in a cease and desist lawsuit, and I don't really feel like going through that. So I put up a poll last week and asked for you guys to vote whether or not I should rebrand the show and just play it completely safe, since we're in its early days and we can afford to rebrand, or just send it and just keep going, and hope that they just are chill about it and they really don't care and nothing happens. Especially because it's not exactly the same, because like I said, they're Couchlocked Entertainment and I'm just Couchlocked. So there's, I guess, a little bit of wiggle room there, and hopefully just nothing happens. That would be the optimum, the best case scenario. That's what I would hope to happen. But you never know. Anything's possible, and I would just hope that that would be the route that things go. But I did put up that poll, and surprise, surprise, I got no responses back. But my girlfriend did say that I should just send it, because hope for the best, and if things go haywire down the road, just comply and hopefully not get sued, and just rebrand, and just hopefully it won't be too difficult. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go with that for now. I'm just gonna play it safe, or not play it safe, but just keep going as we are. Everything should be fine, especially right now, since it is such early days and we don't have the hugest audience right now. We can kind of we're the little dogs in the game right now, so I'm just gonna go with that and hope nothing happens. And yeah, moving on from the poll from last week, let's do a bev check. I'm just drinking water. I was gonna try and go grab a June Shine for this, but I decided I'm already super tired and I want to wake up early tomorrow. So if I had that, I would probably wake up later than I would like to, even if it was just one. And I would rather just wake up early. So opted out of getting that, and I'm just sipping on some water. But if you haven't already, I should have said this at the top of the episode, but if you want, you guys should go grab some bevs, some coffee, some tea, some drink, some beer, cocktail, whatever have you. If you want to smoke a little something, grab something to smoke. If you want just some water or something, go get it. Now's the time to go to the bathroom. Now's the time to grab a snack. Now's the time to do all of these things, refreshing those things if you already had some earlier in the episode. I really should have said this in the intro. I kind of just jumped into things. I don't know why, but I guess I just didn't think to see this is us growing and learning on this process. Not always going to do things by the book. I'm going to keep you guys on your toes. It's part of this whole growth thing. So yeah, go ahead, do those things if you haven't, because like I said, now's the time. And I'm going to take some sips of my water while you do that, because my throat's getting a little dry and I need to hydrate. Okay. Have you guys been watching the new House of the Dragon on HBO Max? I just caught up on the season, on the 4th episode at this point. This Sunday is episode 5 comes out. It's the Game of Thrones prequel. I'm really digging it. I wasn't for the first couple episodes, and then all of a sudden, during episode 3 and 4, I just I'm getting sucked in, man. And that makes me stoked, because I've never seen Game of Thrones either. I've seen the first 3 episodes of the first season 5 times, because I've tried starting it a ton, but I've never actually finished it and went all the way through for some reason. So I've just kept seeing the first few episodes over and over again, because I keep restarting it because I don't remember what happened. So I was just about to go for that, do it again and try again, when I found out that House of the Dragon was coming out and it was a prequel. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch this and then watch the season, get a little background of the world, and then after the season ends, I'm gonna jump into Game of Thrones. And I was a little nervous at first, because like I said, I wasn't really getting into it at first, but now I'm hooked, and that makes me so happy, because I'm a big medieval type of vibe fan. Ever since I was a kid, I was obsessed with Lord of the Rings for a long while, and just into that kind of fantasy stuff. But in high school, I would play Skyrim. From when I was a young kid through high school, I played RuneScape all the time. So I love this stuff. And then for whatever reason, I just kind of fell off of it. And then, yeah, I just never really watched or did anything in the fantasy genre whatsoever until now. And I'm starting to get super into it again, and super nerdy, and I love it. And I don't know why I went down this road and this path. I'm just kind of letting it all flow tonight. Whatever comes to mind. I'm not going to fight the inspiration. I'm just going to flow with it like a river, like the river of inspiration. Because just with how much I was putting off doing this, I feel like I just need to let it happen, and wherever things want to go, I'm just gonna go along for the ride, because that makes it honest, and that makes it beautiful, and that captures the human experience and journey like I'm trying to portray, just an honest experience. So what's more honest than just going with the flow of what the vibe, whatever the inspiration is taking me, so why not? And here we are talking about House of the Dragon and fantasy stuff, because that's what my mind is at, and I'm inspired to talk about it right now. Even though this isn't the Miscast review, I'm touching on it because it's fun. I also tonight watched the first episode of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. If I had to choose one between Rings of Power or House of the Dragon, I'm choosing House of the Dragon. I'm sorry. I was kind of bored in the first episode. I'm probably going to try and watch the second and maybe the third tomorrow. I'm still going to watch the season, of course, but I'm just not as hooked as I was after the first episode of House of the Dragon. And I wasn't even that hooked after House of the Dragon, but in comparison to Rings of Power, I'm pretty hooked. For House of the Dragon, at least. In terms of Rings of Power, I don't know. I'm pretty wary. Maybe not wary, but just like bored, I guess. I was just kind of bored with it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just over here vibing. I don't know. Trying to flow. Today was one of those days where I just feel very not depressed, because I wasn't like an episode, like depression, not episode, but like day, because like some days I'll slip in, I'll still just feel the same depression as I did in that one season of life last year, that whole era. So because I'm not like fully healed, I guess. I'm still breaking down a lot of barriers. I'm still taking a lot of strides, but some days are better than others. And today wasn't one of those days. It was more of just I don't know, just apathetic, I guess. I don't know. I was having a pretty good day until like 2, and then all of a sudden I just got smacked in a wall with this feeling of like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with myself right now? Like, just it was just like a moment of, not just a moment, but like a few hours of just feeling very just disappointed with how I'm doing in terms of like my career, and just like just career and stuff, big stuff like that. Not even big stuff like that, but like in terms of the career and like all the big stuff within the overarching career is what I'm trying to say. Because I was 19 years old in college, in film school, and I was like, this sucks. I'm out. and I'm going to make this happen on my own. And I dropped out, moved home from Phoenix. That's where I went to school. Moved home to San Diego, and I thought I was going to make this happen so fast. I thought within a year or two, I'm going to be golden. Here I am 4 years later, and I'm in the exact same place I was 4 years ago. And that just feels kind of defeating sometimes. Just because I thought things would be more figured out by now. But I'm not just like a unemployed 19-year-old living at home, just like on fire to get things going. Now I'm a 23-year-old unemployed living in my van, still trying to make the same things happen, but now I'm just tired. I guess you could say I'm a little bit more worn out. I'm a little bit more haggard. Got a lot more life experience, and it's not even like, that's why I'm saying it's not a big deal, because I remember, like, I have accomplished a lot in the last 4 years since dropping out. I have like 2 years worth of experience with my other podcast, Miscast Review. I've written so much more in these last 4 years. I've written 2 feature films. I've written a episode and a half of a 4-episode limited series. And that first episode was 170 pages, or no, 185 pages. So that plus another 50 I've done it for episode 2. I've wrote and directed an entire feature film in 2020, which is a ton of experience, actually doing a feature film. I just jaked it up and never edited it. And here we are, about to be in 2023, still have it unfinished. I got this podcast started. There's a lot of strides that have been made. Just haven't seen a lot of fruits from all of these strides, I guess. And that just gets a little bit defeating when you see peers actually doing it and succeeding, and it's just like, what am I doing wrong? But the thing, I know what I'm doing wrong, and I'm just not putting enough time into it. I'm not fully grinding as much as I could be doing. I'm not accomplishing as much as I know that I could be doing, because in reality, and a lot of the time that I spend that's the thing too, is like, I have to also forgive myself a little bit, because one of these 4 years I spent literally couch-locked, just watching TV and just super depressed, and just binge eating like crazy, because it was one of the only things that like relieved that like depression a little bit. I was just riding that high of the just dopamine from delicious fast food and all the good stuff, it just made me feel a little bit better. So that was like an entire year of my life. And for this last year, I've been on a full journey of just tons of inward like rebuilding and healing and getting back on my correct path. And a lot of this these writings that I've accomplished were done in my the tail end of my big depression year, because it was one of the things that helped me get out of it, and start the climb up, because I realized I needed to get back to what is important in my life and what made me feel so full and happy. And writing and my creativity outlets were one of those things. So that's when I started my limited series, and I wrote that 180 at first episode, the first 50 episodes of episode 2, and then I switched over to my third feature film that I've written. Busted out that first draft. It was 80 pages in 10 days, and that was back in February, and I've been working on the second draft of that ever since. So for the last 6 months, I've been working on that second draft, planning on getting that done by the end of this next week, thankfully, or hopefully. So hopefully by the release of episode 4, I will have an update of that being completed. Fingers crossed, because I want to get back to my limited series, because I haven't touched that since last December or January, I think. So I'd like to get back to that. And yeah, where was I even going with all of this, man? I just this was not the plan for this week either. I was planning on talking about van life. And I wasn't even planning on talking about van life. I was planning on talking about mindfulness. But then I switched to van life, and now, because of just how I've been feeling today and just following the flow of inspiration, I just kind of started talking about, I don't even know what I've been talking about. Just this journey. I don't know. So I got to forgive myself for that, that year, and just kind of understand that not everything goes according as planned, but sometimes not going according to plan is a part of the plan, and that's what makes life so beautiful. See what I did there? I turned things around. Glass half full, people. Glass half full. And that's really hard to remember sometimes, because when you're in the trenches, it feels like there is no escape. But I'm here to tell you there is an escape, You just gotta keep pushing, and you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. And today is just one of those days where it just gets to you a little bit more. You feel the weight a little bit extra today, at least for me. But tomorrow is a new day. I'm really excited to tackle whatever lies ahead tomorrow. I just gotta keep on trucking. I think I need to really up my productivity when it comes to my creativity projects and just my work. because I want to get my career started, you know? I don't want to keep feeling like I'm getting left in the dirt in terms of this rat race called life, and that's how it feels sometimes. But that's the nature of this industry that I'm in. It's a very difficult thing to break into. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work, and I just got to step up and start doing the work more, you know? I can't keep just going about each day as if it's just not a big deal. And that's a big problem that I have with San Diego because it makes me feel so chill and it makes me want to just vibe out all day. But sometimes I gotta get up and just grind, you know? And I hate grinding because I just don't like the hustle culture, and I spent a big chunk of my life, especially in like late high school, early college, in like participating in the hustle culture and that grind of capitalism and all that, just whatever, you know, like, and I'm more in terms of, I think I talked about this last week, this is what I was going to talk about in terms of mindfulness. I am doing a full 360 here, all the way back, you know. So let's, I guess, get into it. Mindfulness. Actually, no, we're at the 40-minute mark. I am not going to jump into mindfulness right now. That is an entire episode alone. But a little teaser is that, yeah, in college and late high school, I was really into the like Gary V hustle culture, grind culture, entrepreneurship, all that stuff. I was into it and I was all about it, you know? And then over time, over these last 4 years, I really realized how damaging that mindset is, especially just not just for the individuals, but as societies as whole. And this is a big topic to get into, but you know, just a little bit of cliff notes. I'll get into it more on that episode of mindfulness. But I've started taking things with a lot more just patience and just slowness, and not having to hustle 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to rest, that type of deal. Yeah, I don't know how did I don't even know how I got on this topic. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't remember how I got on this topic, if I'm going to be honest. Yeah, guys, I think that's what that's going to do it for this episode. It's now 11:58 p.m. It's about to cross over into midnight. So safe to say I'm feeling pretty tired. My throat's getting pretty dry. This did not go at all how I thought it was going to go. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I wasn't too all over the place and rambly and just blech, you know? I feel like this was really all over the place. Really gonna... Maybe I won't reel it in next time. I don't know. Who knows? I don't even know what... I would like to do a teaser for next week, but I honestly don't even know what next week's episode will be. I might try and go ahead and tackle van life next week. I might do mindfulness next week, or it might just be off the cuff again, like this week. Who knows, honestly. So look forward to any one of those three things, or you might get all three. Who knows? You never know with me. Sorry, I just burped. Excuse me. So let's just move on into the next segment, the recommendation segment. I would like to recommend this week to the H3 podcast. I was just listening to that right before recording this because I was using that as a way to procrastinate this because I was watching that. Excellent podcast. Love those guys. Have big admiration and just love those guys. I love the show. Listen to every episode every week. I think they do like 4 episodes a week. And yeah, so go check them out if you've never checked them out. Hilarious, epic, awesome. EAA. Is that right? Is that the right acronym? Anyway, that's my recommendation. Go check them out if you haven't yet. And again, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it wasn't the most ridiculous thing in the world to listen to. Hope you guys enjoyed your bevs or your smokes, whatever enjoyment vice you enjoyed while listening to this. I hope you enjoyed them. Next week, I'm excited to see you guys next week. Have a great week, this upcoming week. And if you want, you can follow the Instagram for the show, Couchlocked Pod on Instagram. I forgot to shout this out last week. You can go follow the page for this show next week. Or not. God, I'm like going crazy. I'm so tired. You can follow that Instagram for the show if you'd like. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna go to bed now. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Goodbye. Peace and love. Love you all. Good night. See you next week. Deuces. Roll that outro. Oh my lordy.